Okay guys, just a few thoughts about this project if you were looking to get into something similar on these year trucks. A motor swap is fairly straightforward if you're looking to do it. Your biggest thing that I would say is your emissions is the hardest thing to disconnect. Watch where they go. As far as electronics go, here's a tip. On these newer vehicles at EFI, on this truck there's a 4 connector plug on this side of the engine bay or by the air filter. That just comes off, these 4 plugs here. Just unplug them and take any wires off, like ground wires and such that might be going to the rest of the truck. Other than that, you don't have to really unhook anything. When I pulled my motor, I pulled the power steering pump off, of course, because you need to do that. Pull that off, get that out of your way. I pulled the alternator so I could use this as a hook spot. Then I just hooked on the manifold over here. But it's really difficult to get to the back of the engine with it in there. You can do it. I pulled the upper intake off just to give myself a little bit more working room. Don't necessarily need to, just what I did. But what I would do is I just put a bolt back here. It's hard to see, I know. But put a bolt in the back of the engine block, or the head, then go diagonal. Or if you can get one of those lift leveling devices on there or something to that effect, would be good. I ended up pulling off my crank pulley just to clear my front grille radiator support right in here. Right in here I had to clear, so I just want to make sure I didn't hook that. Or my condenser, I want to be careful of that, which you must do if your truck is equipped with AC. You got to be careful of that. You did not have to unhook the air compressor from any of the lines. All you have to do is unbolt the air compressor from the motor, move that off to the side. I just moved over there by the master cylinder, no big deal. Those are the big things when removing the engine. As far as the fuel pumps go, that's fairly straightforward. Also, I pulled the bed off because it's just easier. 6 bolts, it's off, it's out of your way. Undo your pumps, and you're ready to go. Nothing hard about that. The reason I did it this way was it's much easier than dropping the tanks. I had to drop the rear tank once the bed was off anyway. It looked like it would come straight up, but it doesn't. I dropped it out the bottom anyway because my tank was full of crap and it's being replaced. I flushed the fuel lines, which is no big deal. It's a little time consuming, but I was able to do it. Most people probably don't need to do that unless you have really bad fuel in there that's been sitting for a long time. No big deal. Everything's fairly simple on this truck. A lot of metric and a lot of standard. It's kind of mixed. 16 millimeters common. There's 14, 15s, 13. 16, 13, and 14s are your most common sizes. A lot of 10s, of course, but you see that of almost everything metric nowadays. Trying to think of anything else. I went and switched all my bushings out for my suspension. On my sway bars anyway. Didn't do the main suspension at this time. We'll do that later. But that was also pretty easy. A couple little tough spots to get to, but nothing too terrible. Trying to think. Anything that gave me particular trouble, but you're going to have some trouble with the bell housing bolts. I suggest a very long extension and a swivel socket or adapter. Swivel adapter for regular sockets, and get a bar. Your ratchet will not be enough. You're gonna need a breaker bar. They're in there tight. Or if you have an electric impact, or if you have an impact available, use it. It will save you a lot of trouble because you're gonna twist a lot. I was not able to use impact because my electric one wasn't strong enough, and my air one doesn't have enough air in this garage compared to my garage. So that would definitely be useful. Impact is useful almost everywhere actually, but just a tip. I can't think of anything off the top of my head right now that's particularly useful to this swap, but if I come up with some more, your fuel lines, that's what I was going to mention. Fuel lines are a major pain in the butt. Either buy the Napa tool or buy these. This type works really good. I bought ones from CarQuest that were the correct style for this Ford, but they did not work worth a darn at all. they would not get in there and pop mine off. I have no idea if that's due to poor design on this or if it's just mine were that crazy, because I could not get them off in the engine bay whatsoever. Once I unhooked the fuel lines from down below and then I tried to unhook them on the engine, they popped right off like nothing. So be aware of that. If you run into trouble getting your fuel lines off, I would go ahead and just unbuckle them from the fuel filter and your selector valve and take them out with the engine, and then try and take them off once the engine's out of the truck. You get better purchase on it rather than leaning over the engine. Let's see here. What else is there? I can't think of anything in particular. If you guys have any questions, please let me know, and I'll try to advise you as best I can. But with this truck, things have been pretty good. It's the little details that count with me. That's what takes me forever to do this, because I tend to overlook some things at times, but yet I maybe over focus on others. Like with the frame back there, I wanted to get that done with the bed off before I put in the tank, and do all the stuff that I could not access with the bed on. So I was taking my time with that, trying to get that right, nice and done good so it doesn't rust, even though it had undercoating on it. There are spots where the rust would have gotten salt thrown and stuff here in Wisconsin, so I addressed those issues. I think that's it for now. If you guys have any questions, just let me know and I'll do my best to help you out. Catch you later.